problem that must be addressed. Businesses, families, children, all impacted by the crime plaguing the city. How did we get here? Are the systems working? And what's the best path forward?
Memphis 911, do you need fire or ambulance?
It's an epidemic. It's a virus. It's a social disease.
I'm at the crib.
Had days on call. I've treated 9 patients.
A city.
Why did you take my son from us?
In crisis.
You can't operate a business here if you're in fear of staying in business.
I really feel violated. You work hard, and people take things that you work hard for.
Crime continues to hurt Memphis.
We hear our citizens loud and clear. They want to see action.
In 2023, major property crime increased more than 17% in Memphis, driven by thousands of vehicles stolen, leaving their owners without reliable transportation, some losing their jobs because of it.
What are they going to do to stop it? You know, because not only is my car gone, like I have several friends that their car is gone.
Car break-ins, another problem with a ripple effect. Thousands of guns continue to be stolen out of cars. And now police say they're seeing the most guns ever on the streets.
Our officers are going out there every day knowing that they're going to encounter armed people.
Major violent crime increased 7% in 2023 compared to the year before. Robberies up 20%. Homicides skyrocketed, breaking a record. Le Bonheur Children's Hospital reported a record-breaking year for juveniles being shot. 10 of them left paralyzed because of it.
Terrible.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about what Democrats call a right-wing conspiracy theory, which is the fact that crime is up in this country, particularly in these liberal cities, okay, which is the exact opposite of what Democrats are telling people, because Democrats live in upside down world, okay, where up is down and down is up and boys are girls and girls are boys, and the border is not open, it is closed when in fact it actually is wide open, and inflation is down when inflation is actually up, okay. They're doing this with crime as well too, okay. They're telling us crime is down when crime is actually up, okay? It most certainly is up, especially in these liberal cities. And we have to talk about a liberal city that is probably the murder capital of the country right now, maybe even the Western Hemisphere at this point. Memphis, right? Memphis, Tennessee. That most certainly is experiencing a crime crisis. And the Republicans actually tried to do something about it. Because believe it or not, the woke revolutionaries running Memphis, Tennessee actually tried to make the problem worse, okay? Because after the death of Tyre Nichols, in an overreaction to what happened to this guy, they decided to get softer on crime. Not tougher on crime, softer on crime. Now, you guys should be familiar with what happened with Tyre Nichols. Just to remind you, he was the individual who happened to be black, who got beat to death by, 4 or 5 or 6 black police officers. Everybody remembers that story, where you had the black police officers that were part of the special crime unit, the Scorpion unit, in which these individuals ended up beating Tyre Nichols to death. And then the mainstream liberal media came out here and blamed it on white supremacy. Even though everybody involved in the story was black and the city is run by black people, it is a mostly black city. But despite all the blackness involved, and no white man being involved, really, maybe there was one white guy, but regardless, overwhelmingly black situation, still the white man's fault, according to the woke revolutionaries.
Between George Floyd and today, nothing has changed. I very much doubt that anything will change until we eradicate the source of this problem, which is white supremacy. Listen, the vicious and brutal, unjustified extrajudicial killing of Tyre Nichols is as a result of a police system that is built on white supremacy. White supremacy underpins the policing and criminal justice system, both in the United States and the United Kingdom. It shapes the culture that sees black people as less, treats black lives as disposable, and ensures that black lives don't matter.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Again, like I was telling you guys, as a result of what happened to Tyre Nichols, again, there was a complete overreaction from the woke revolutionaries, and they decided to pass a bill to make it harder for police to do their jobs, okay? And the GOP, in the legislature of Tennessee, decided to override that bill because of the crime crisis that is currently happening in Memphis, Tennessee. As you guys saw at the beginning of this video, that city is on the verge of collapse. I mean, it is like murder capital. Okay. I mean, it is not a city that I would ever want to visit for any reason whatsoever. Okay. Even if I had to do business in Memphis, Tennessee, I probably would just skip it, right? I'd be like, nah, it's just not worth it. Okay. That city is dangerous, right? So dangerous that, again, the legislator led by the GOP passed a bill to override the bill that was passed as a result of Tyre Nichols' death to try to make it harder for police to do their jobs. And the woke revolutionaries are upset. Take a look.
Tennessee is about to undo police reform in Memphis. This legislature passed a bill today that overrides the local traffic ordinances passed by the Memphis City Council after the death of Tyre Nichols. Action News 5's Joyce Peterson live now with how a last-minute plea from the Nichols family fell on deaf ears at the Capitol. Joyce.
Yeah, Joy, Rodney and Rovon Wells made their second trip to Nashville today to try and convince the bill's sponsor, State Senator Brent Taylor, not to pass this bill. But Taylor, a law and order Republican, told the GOP Majority Senate Memphis and Shelby County need this legislation to fight crime.
These traffic stops are an important law enforcement tool.
State Senator Brent Taylor convincing his fellow GOP lawmakers to support legislation that nullifies local police reform in Memphis.
We have to have uniformity and consistency across the state when it comes to traffic enforcement.
After Tyre Nichols' deadly beating by Memphis police during a traffic stop in January 2023, the Memphis City Council passed the Driving Equality Act, banning traffic stops for tags expired less than 60 days, improperly located tags, unsecured license plates, broken head or brake lights, or a loose bumper.
Had these ordinances been in place the night Tyre Nichols was pulled over, they wouldn't have saved his life.
Nichols' parents, Rodney and Rovon Wells, met with Senator Taylor before Thursday's vote.
We're just here to fight to the end.
And Democratic senators from Memphis pleaded with Senator Taylor to pull his bill.
Because it's a slap in the face, not only our city councils, but all the local governing bodies in this state, because we're telling them you are not smart enough to decide policies to help govern your own city.
It is extreme overreach. It is something that's cruel. That's all I can say.
The bill passed 26-6. Nichols' family calling it political sabotage that hurt them deeply, telling Action News 5 our goal was to create something in Memphis that could protect our community. But even after doing so, our success is fleeting.
I mean, they should spend the rest of their natural life in prison for what they did to Tyre Nichols. But we can't let our empathy for one family cloud our judgment and how we're going to protect 7 million Tennesseans.
All right, so the bill now goes to Governor Bill Lee's desk. He can sign it into law, or if 10 days go by, it will become law without his signature, or he could always veto it. Live in studio tonight, I'm Joyce Peterson. Joy, over to you.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, I want to say this. I understand the pain that the Tyre Nichols family is going through, okay, in regards to losing a loved one in such a traumatic way, a tragic way. However, that bill that was passed as a result of his death is not going to do anything to keep the citizens of Memphis safe. And when I say that, I mean like what the citizens of Memphis are actually worried about on a day-to-day basis in regards to what is most likely to impact them when it comes to crime and safety, which are criminals. It's not cops. Okay, just because you have 5 cops go rogue and they end up committing this very tragic and violent act, that does not call for complete reform, okay, and overthrowing of common sense and making it harder for police to do their jobs, especially when a vast majority of the crime in your city is being committed by criminals. When you're experiencing a crime crisis, 2023 was the most violent year in history for Memphis, right? It's never been deadlier to be a resident of Memphis. But in response to one situation, you have this reaction that makes it less safe, that makes it harder to stop the crime, to stop the violence. Now, again, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about the George Floydification of this country. Same thing happened with George Floyd. One thing, right? One event that honestly, let's keep it 100. The narrative doesn't fit the actual facts in regards to what really happened in that situation. But because of that one situation, it made it so a lot of these liberal cities decided to get soft on crime, which is what has led to this crime crisis that we're currently experiencing across the country in these liberal cities, right? So the same thing is happening here. And the GOP is saying, no, you guys, in fact, are not smart enough to make your own decision. Yes, we are actually going to overthrow your local government because they don't know what the hell they're doing. You're putting your citizens in danger. So I agree with the GOP and what they're doing, right? But some activists, BLM activists, are taking it a step further than just being upset. Some of them are actually calling for riots and destruction as a result of the GOP trying to protect the black people, the citizens of Memphis. Take a look.
It is a slap in the face, and you might as well stomp on the grave of Tyre Nichols for bringing this bill. Yes, we are emotionally charged. Why? Because it's personal for us. Taylor made this personal the minute he introduced this legislation to target one family and one life that was lost. So yeah, we're gonna fight. Dr. King said the riots are the language of the unheard. You ain't saying nothing yet. If you keep silencing us like this, what do you think our district's gonna do? We have had it up here. Gloves off. Like, we're gonna fight like hell. You don't expect us to respond when you gaslight us every single day with these bills? There's a bill to get rid of the Tennessee Human Rights Commission that they're gonna bring, to abolish it, rooted in the Civil Rights Act, to make sure that we have protections for folks that look like Tyre Nichols. Don't tell me this stuff ain't racist. Don't tell me it's not. It is rooted in racism. This was a Jim Crow bill that Taylor brought, and all his Confederates voted for it today.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Okay, typical woke revolutionary, instead of actually making a real argument for why you should be banning traffic stops in a city that has a crime crisis, instead of making an argument for why that's a good idea, oh no, well, everybody that disagrees with me is a Confederate. You're racist, and there needs to be riots in the street, okay, according to her, right? She's quite literally calling for violence in response to the GOP trying to protect black people. And this is what I'm talking about, bro. This is what I am talking about, okay, when it comes to these people who claim to be pro-black, but they're really pro-progressive, because there's nothing pro-black about this. In fact, this is not only not pro-black, it's anti-black and anti-American, in my opinion, because what is more pro-black than trying to be tougher on crime so that less black people lose their lives? This is what I was talking about yesterday when, you know, Charlamagne the God was out here talking about black MAGA, right? He doesn't like black MAGA Republicans because black MAGA Republicans are, I guess, against black people or something like that. This is what he claims. Okay, we're against the interest of black people. And I was speculating that what he meant by that is that black MAGA Republicans actually tell the truth about the issues in the black community and the issues that we need to talk about, and we need to be honest about the culture. We need to be honest about crime. And quite honestly, we should be pro law and order, right? A lot of these woke revolutionaries, even some of the black conservatives, there are some black conservatives out there that want to be soft on crime, right? They don't want to lock up criminals. So what I was saying was that, no, a lot of these people that claim to support this type of stuff, to support crime and chaos in the name of being pro-black, no, they're actually anti-black, right? Because this is a very anti-black thing, which is to basically condone and facilitate crime and violence, which is what this woman is calling for, right? And supporting, right? This is what she's supporting. Because that bill banning traffic stops, that's what it does, right? It quite literally is a pro-crime bill. It makes it harder for police to do their job. That's the last thing that you need. That's the last thing that you need right now. And what's so funny about this is that if the GOP, if they actually were white supremacists, they would just let y'all run the city the way you're currently running it. Run it into the ground. The more black people that lose their lives, the better. That is what they would be thinking if they actually were Klansmen, right? Or Confederates or white supremacists or whatever these people claim that the GOP is. Because again, if I was a Klansman, okay, I'd be like, I don't care how y'all run y'all city. You can run it into the ground for all I care, right? I wouldn't do anything. I would just sit back and watch and say, well, look at these people killing themselves and destroying their own city and living the way they living, right? That's what you would do if you actually didn't give a damn. If you were against black people, that's what you would do. But if I'm pro saving lives, right? If I actually don't want to see the loss of black life unnecessarily, if I don't want to see criminals take over these cities, if I want to see businesses that are ran by black people thrive, then I'm going to do what the GOP just did. I'm going to step in because these people are too stupid that are running this city to actually legislate effectively in a way that's going to stop the crime. And that's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. But they're being called anti-black for doing something that's pro-black. Again, it's amazing. That's how ass backwards these people are. That's how ass backwards the woke revolutionaries are. And this is what I try to tell you guys. This whole I'm pro-black thing is nothing but a farce. It is a farce for progressivism. It is a farce for chaos and destruction. It is a farce for cultural Marxism. That's what it is. That's all it is. Because these people do not support policies that are good for black folks, that are going to allow law-abiding black people to thrive. They're not for that. They're against that. That's not what they want. That's the last thing that they want. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. In fact, they're so against it that they will call for violence. If you dare pass legislation to try to protect law-abiding black people, to try to save black life, right? They will protest against you. They will call for violence if you try to do that. That's how anti-black these people are, right? While running around pretending like they love black folks so much. They hate black people. They do. That's the only conclusion I can come to. Because look at the results. Look at the results. So, good job on the GOP, right? The GOP seems to be pro-black, right? When it comes to passing this legislation, pro-American, pro-Tennessee, okay, pro-law and order. And they did exactly what they had to do because, yeah, these idiots are too stupid, too woke to run this city effectively. And that's why it's become the hellhole that it currently is. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.